the environment. It pervades media, our lifestyles, and even school curriculum. But how many of us actually get the opportunity to enter our environment, learn how it works, and try to improve it? Mira Loma High School IB science students received this unique opportunity through their program, known as the Arcade Creek Project. 15 years ago, Mira Loma science teachers and students created a multi-study project that assesses and restores the health of the nearby Arcade Creek. Each of the 11 studies is a piece of a larger puzzle that works together to investigate the animals, plants, and natural features of the creek, utilizing this data to spread awareness of environmental issues. Let's take a closer look at these studies. The bioassessment and vertebrate studies work together to monitor the population density and diversity of key indicator species living in and around the creek. The vertebrate study focuses on recognizing animals living around the creek, primarily birds, and learns to recognize them by appearance and call. The bioassessment team takes to the labs, searching for invertebrate larvae in samples taken from the creek. Data taken from these observations are compared to data from previous years to detect trends in overall creek health. The botany and habitat studies focus on monitoring the plant life around the creek. The habitat team maps out areas along the creek banks and measures the growth and foliage coverage of the trees that provide shelter to the animals living there. The botany team uses data obtained by the habitat team to observe the specific species of plants living at the creek. By identifying plant species and maintaining records, the botany team monitors the populations of native and invasive species and the impact that these populations have on overall creek health. The chemistry, sediments, and bioassay teams work in the lab to analyze creek water and sediment samples to determine trends in chemical composition. The chemistry team runs bi-weekly tests on water samples from each of the creek sites to detect drastic changes in chemical composition, whereas the sediments team conducts long-term analysis of seasonal changes in the sediment type, size, and chemical composition. The bioassay study synthesizes data obtained by these studies, running tests on Cereodaphnia dubia, a form of water flea that serves as an indicator for water toxicity. Altogether, these studies provide the empirical data from which the ecological trends observed by the plants and animal-based studies can be corroborated. The long mapping and restoration studies work most closely with the creek itself, spending the majority of the time along the banks or in the water. The long mapping team creates semi-annual maps of the creek to track bank erosion and any changes in the path of the creek, which may be caused by irregular blockages. Using observational data from the long mapping and botany studies, the restoration team solves the problems observed by these studies, removing trash, dams, and invasive species from the creek, while planting native plants to restore the creek to its natural state. The Creek Project wouldn't be possible without the support of the community and environmental awareness groups. The technology and outreach teams work to synthesize the results of the above studies and spread awareness of our project. The technology study compiles and reports final data, as well as manages the arcadecreekproject.org website and creates promotional videos to publicize our project. The outreach group spreads environmental awareness, holding environmental lessons at local schools and attending community events, while writing grant applications to ensure funding for the lab equipment used by our studies. In the past 15 years, more than 3,200 students have actively participated in the Arcade Creek Project, creating data that has been used in professional research, including the government-funded Jones and Stokes Research Project on climate change in the Sacramento watershed. The project has gained recognition at the state and national levels, including the government's Environmental and Economic Leadership Award. Thank you for joining us on our journey through the Arcade Creek Project.